Strider, your host here at Author in the Headlights, and thank you for joining us today. And today we have Deston Munden. He's an
Hello, hello,
author.
hello.
Howdy, Deston. And you are what, South Carolina, somewhere like that?
North Carolina, actually.
North Carolina.
Close.
Well, close. Kind of neighbors, like sorry, it's somewhere in the great US. It's over on that side, and I'm on the
hmm
Pacific coast, so a little different time frame. We have that issue all the time, ours and yours, but we made this work, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. Now, your work is you've got basically two sets. Um,
Yep.
you've got Dusk Mountain Blues, which is what is that? Space fiction? Is that what you would consider that?
I'll say it's a space western. It's
Space
like,
Western.
hmm like it's a sci-fi, like think X-Men meets like a western. And
All
you
right.
got you have Death Mountain Blues. People call it banjo punk, and I enjoy that
Hey,
term.
a genre for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Well, I also have, well, it's not a sci-fi Western, I suppose, not a space Western in stone. So bringing those different genres together it makes it special, makes it something different. And that's
It
pretty cool.
does.
And you do have pretty good reviews. I like that. And
Thank
then you have a
you.
second set, the Dargath Chronicles, and you've got two
Mm,
books in that.
Yes, I do.
And you've
I
got
have Tavern, which is going to be re-released on March 14th with my new publisher, and Dust Mountain and Duke's Brand, which is the second book of that series.
book two of Dargath Chronicles. Yes. And that's cool. And that is fantasy fiction, epic fantasy. What kind of
It's
genre do
epic
they
fantasy,
actually?
it's kind of swords and sorcery, kind of think Dungeons and Dragons.
There you go. Yep. And you've got well, your tavern is run by as an orc. Is that who I remember?
Yep, he's an orc.
All right. So, and that's good. I like that. It's good to mix those things up together.
Yeah,
So
I'm a huge fan of like non-human protagonists, so it's just something that like my like favorite thing to like write about.
that's well, yeah. Hey, mine has a crystalline entity, so that's and it's called stone. So yeah, bringing in those other things into our mundane world and making it
Yeah.
special. That's pretty cool. So, want to give me just a little rundown on your story?
All right, I'm gonna do Tavern since that's the one coming out like re-releasing. It's about an orc tavern owner who kind of like stumbles upon this plot to destroy a city. But he's just not just a tavern owner. He's a guild master of like probably the biggest and most like infamous information broker company in the city. So he has to use all his connections kind of like, to bring the city together to protect from this threat. And it has a lot of themes of like dealing with like anxiety and how you deal with your family if you have a different types of family dynamics. It's got a lot of these different themes I pull from my personal life and from my fantasy. So,
Hey, we write what we know, right?
yep,
And that's cool. That's excellent. It makes a good storyline and it makes it personal. I mean, that also brings
yes,
in your own character into your characters. And that says a lot. It's not just writing whatever. I'm just going to sit down and write this. Well, it becomes very personal. Those
it
stories
does.
become part of us. And now
And we're a part of our stories. I
we
think
are,
so.
we
I think
are.
a little bit of everyone's writing has a part of them in it, and that's important to like show off.
It is. Now, are you a pantser or a plotter? Do you have it all scheduled
I'm a
and laid out?
pantser.
You sit down
I'm
and
a
you
pantser
write.
100%. Like if I have an outline, I'm gonna just throw it away halfway through anyway. So I might as well just like just not
Here,
have
here,
one.
brothers of a kind. Let me tell you, absolutely, because I have a basic plot, maybe kind of. I have this
Yeah,
theory, but once I start writing, it creates itself.
yeah.
It almost like channeling where this goes and is like, man, I had no idea where this story is. Just I like it
Yeah,
because
you know,
it's
like
there.
I think that is what one of my favorite parts of it. Like it kind of like organically makes it so.
It does.
So I might not know where it's going at the time, but it will figure itself out.
And it is exciting. It becomes truly exciting as you're writing it because you don't know. It's like reading a new book because it is
Yeah.
a new book. And it may not be polished at that point, but the concept is there and it takes you in new places. And then it's like, wow, I get done. I go, I had no idea that was going there. That is fun. Now, what started you in writing?
Just always been kind of a writer. I've always liked playing video games and reading books. But I decided to like kind of put my best foot forward when I was getting like kind of sick. So like I need something to do and I want something that will last while I get through this. So and that how I made Tavern the first time. And it really kind of solidified this is something I wanted to do. Like once I finished Tavern, because it was the first book I ever actually finished.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me feel like this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. And that's how I got to where I am right now.
All right. All right. Well, it certainly does take time to write.
It does.
An incredible amount of time. If you're doing an 80, 90,000 word book, it can take you 8 months to write it, six to 8 months to write it probably. And that's the writing of it. And then the editing and the rewriting and the re-editing and and the rewriting and the correcting. And it takes you another months or months. It is not a fast process. So if you wanted something to take your time, boy, that's a good use for it, I'll tell you.
Yeah. A lot of people think you can just write a book and it'll just fix itself. That's not true. It's not going to fix
No,
itself.
nope. And you can't just be good anymore. I was talking with
Yeah.
Robert Dugani, a world famous author, just a while back, and he said, you can't just be good anymore. You have to be great. And that means you have
Hmm.
to take somebody else's word for it. You have to go to your editor and they have to do the manuscript overviews and they have to do the edits and the line edits because otherwise it's not going to go anywhere. It has to have that perfection done to it, the best that
It
it
has to have
can.
that polish.
Yep,
It has to have that.
polish. That's right.
It
And
has
it
to have that
doesn't
like
start out
because
that
it's not gonna
way.
be perfect. It's not gonna be
No.
perfect no matter what you do. It has to have that like high level polish now.
Yes,
So.
especially if you are self-published, because it's
Hmm.
all up to you. Now, if you do have a publisher and an editor, then on that part, you still have to have a good work to send them, and then they'll take it over and they will tell you this has to change. Um,
Yep.
but you still need a good manuscript to start that.
Yep. You do.
Now, do you have a process that you work under? What is your process to produce a book?
Okay. Usually, I just kind of hammer through an idea first. I like, okay, I have a general idea, and then I do the first draft. I know that seems weird because some people are like, where's the outline in this? No, there's the first draft right immediately. Once I get the first draft done, I then go do chapter and chapter with an outline to see what happened in each plot or each like chapter, and then fill in the blanks. Then I go do the second, and then go do that again. And then the third is usually me just kind of like polishing it up and getting like the smaller details down. And then the fourth is usually grammar. And then like the editor back and forth. That's
Yep,
usually
yep.
my general process.
All right. Well, it seems to work. And like I said, you've got some good reviews out there, and we can always use more reviews.
Yes.
Always. Do you have
Like please
something?
review.
Oh gosh. Do you have something that hasn't worked that you've tried? Yeah, that doesn't work for me.
Um I have tried to do the outline first and it doesn't really work for me.
All right.
Um
Because the
I don't
story
think
builds
that
itself.
yeah. And I think that I try to overthink things when I do the outline and I don't quite get the feeling of what will happen next if I just need to get it out there because I'll overthink
All
it.
right. Well, that is true because especially when you're a pantser, you trust yourself. It's just
Yeah.
going to, I presume you were a big reader. Is that true?
Yes. I
Mhm.
am a huge reader.
And because of that, you know or understand even if you haven't studied it, say you haven't gone to college and got a degree in writing, you still know the flow dynamics of your expectations for a good book. And so you're
Mm-hmm.
going to write similarly, simply because that's what your mind says, well, this is what it needs to do. So you
Mm-hmm.
have the ups and downs, and you have the, you know, where you're not doing too much of one thing or too much of the other. You automatically take care of that.
Yeah, because you know you trust yourself and you know what you like in a story.
Yes, that's good. So what's next? Do you have something coming out? So now you have a republish of Tavern
Um,
that's coming out.
um, I'm working on getting the third book of the Dark trilogy and the second and third book of the Dust Mountain Blues
All right.
trilogy.
Hey, there you go. Because, that trilogy seems to be the sweet spot in writing.
I'll do Dargath in a way that like certain like Brandon Sanderson kind of does his. It's like a huge universe. So that's
And it
usually what
is.
I want.
Who knows what's out there? So anything goes, right? And it
Yep.
just keeps growing. That's awesome. So you have some future in your writing, you have space to go, you've got some concepts
Mm.
already, or at least you're ready to try their new concepts, see how
Yeah.
they work, and they'll create their next thing. So, as I was telling you earlier, your work will be on Durham and Publishing's book page, and they'll be available there for our readers to pick up and read your work, and it'll link directly to where they're for sale. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
You bet, because this is both for readers and writers, because
Mm-hmm.
every writer wants their book read, so they need to get the work out there to somebody. So hopefully you
Mm-hmm.
will take part of that. And we want to thank your editress, Elena, and that is the name of her business. And that is on Durham and Publishing's authors resource page for those interested. And that's where we connected with you. So thank you, Elena, too. And thank you for being with us today, because it's taking your time to come here too. And time you could be writing, for goodness sakes.
But every writer need a break sometimes.
That's true. That is true. And I have a tough time getting my own writing done, and I'm three-fourths of the way through my book. So I want to thank you for being with us today. Yeah, it's not a long time, but it's a great time. So I
You're right.
appreciate your time today too. And
Thank
I'm
you.
Strider, your host here at Author in the Headlights, sponsored by Durham Publishing. And thank you so much, Destin. And until next time, I'll see you then. Sponsored by DurhamPublishing.com.